Hey guys, today I just want to make this video real quickly, and it's going to be about the war on drugs in the United States and why, at least in my opinion, I think it needs to come to an end. Hopefully in 2017 it will, with Donald Trump being elected president, but we'll see. Anyways, a little backstory for you. The war on drugs started back in 1971 by Lyndon Johnson. It was an attempt to pass legislation to try to remove the drugs out of the American populace. The problem is, you look at today's date and age, there are still plenty of drugs in the American populace, just like there are plenty of guns in the American populace. Basically, what you can say is that the war on drugs has been a complete colossal failure ever since things got signed into office back in 1971 to try to prevent American youth from taking drugs. So, what we have now is agencies and policies that get passed that cost the taxpayers like myself tens of billions of dollars a year that we pay. You can go look this up on Google if you don't believe me. That we pay every single year tens of billions of dollars for agencies and policies to try to prevent drugs to getting into the hands of the youth in the United States. The problem is it hasn't worked at all. It's costed us more money than it's worth. Drugs are still in the population now more than ever. And the problem is it should be our legal right as Americans to put whatever we want on our body. We also have the right to put whatever we want in our body as well, whether it be good or bad. Now, we already do that with drugs, alcohol, cigarettes. Well, as long as drugs come from pharmaceutical industries. As long as drugs come from the pharmaceutical industries, cigarettes, alcohol, painkillers, adding a few more substances to that list would not be a very, very bad thing. It would actually be very liberating, at least in my opinion. Now, the thing is, we really need as a society is to have the massive paradigm shift on the idea of drugs. They're a very taboo subject in our society, and unfortunately, most people who have never done drugs or people who have experienced drugs really don't understand the actual benefits of what these drugs can offer us. Now, I'm not talking about just fucking smoking weed. We can already all smoke weed basically at this point in most states, and eventually that's just going to get legalized. But we need to legalize every single drug out there in the American population, and here's why. There'd be humongous benefits, and we can finally get rid of the drug cartels that are passing drugs between our border and Mexico, and finally get them out of our population. And if we legalize drugs, it would remove all the power from the drug cartels. So basically, this is what would happen. We legalize all drugs. The U.S. government comes in, they buy up all the drugs they can find in the American population. Then Donald Trump rolls a big fat ass blunt in the Oval Office in the White House, passes the amendment that legalizes all drugs in America, so anyone that wants to take a drug, whether it's good or bad for their health, it is their God-given right as a human being to put whatever they want in their body. He passes that law. Then, once all the drugs are out of the population and people need their fix, the U.S. government then opens up rehab centers, a place where people can go if they want to get off drugs or need a fix for drugs, can go, get a hit of drugs, and then leave. It would be great. It would create tens of millions of jobs. It would create massive health and well-being for people who want to get off drugs, become productive members of society again, and it will allow people who want to experience a drug for the first time to easily get it. It allows people to have an instant paradigm shift from where they're usually stuck in being to finally having a new realization and feeling from taking a new substance or, a new drug, basically. It would literally free us from mental slavery. Now, back in the 1960s during the Woodstock era, when we had great leaders like JFK, MLK, Gandhi, and John Lennon around, this movement would have happened a long time ago. It would have already been like this nowadays, where drugs would have been completely legalized and we would already have rehab centers. The problem is, back in the 1960s, all those people that were leading those movements got assassinated or died. And the problem is, once they died, the movement died with it, and we as the American culture forgot about that. We as the Western world in general have forgotten about drugs, man. You gotta think about back as ancient humans, when we used to live in tribes, there were things called shamans. There were a very well-respected position in tribes that would help people guide them through the spirit realm, or the drug realm, basically, when people were tripping and rolling and trying to experience something new. The shaman was there to help guide people safely through so they can have a pleasant experience and come back out afterwards as a completely changed individual and human being. This is what we need more of. We need more shamans in our society. We need people who can guide other individuals through drug trips or, spiritual awakening. They don't have to take drugs. They could do, again, yoga, meditation, some kind of deep breathing exercise to guide them through that way. I'm just using drugs as a reference because I think it relates to a lot of people. Because honestly, I think most Americans fucking do drugs on a daily basis, whether it be from a pharmaceutical industry or it be for, medicinal use or whatever other use you use. they can get your hands on. Honestly, dude, if we brought drugs to the world, preferably Molly, of all drugs, dude, there would be no more war. There'd be no more crime, hate, prejudice, racism, because nobody would want to kill each other. You got to understand, when people want to kill each other, or they have racist prejudice, or they have any kind of anti-hate towards a group, that is small ways of thinking. If you're able to raise the subconscious level of thinking through drugs, exercise, some kind of Tai Chi or martial arts or even yoga, people would see that those small ways of thinking don't work, and the level of vibrational thinking would increase, and we as a society then would improve. This is where you would see the massive increases in the industries of technology, medicine, industries like transportation. I mean, literally, it's endless, dude. This is the body renaissance I'm talking about that we need to get into, where we have people go to places where it's a safe space. They aren't going around trying to kill people or trying to go eat people's faces like on bath salts. They can go have a safe trip and come back out as a changed individual and change the world, and bring their ideas that they experience in those realities back into the actual reality that they live in to change the world for the better. And that's what we need as a culture to bring back into the American society, because right now, honestly, I feel that change is a lot more closer now than ever before, like back in the 1960s. Because the thing is, with a president like Donald Trump, I'll say this now, that guy is going to be the greatest president probably in the most recent years. He's going to be Theodore Roosevelt level good. And I know what you're saying. Man, how can you say Donald Trump's going to be a good president? That guy's going to cause fucking the nuclear apocalypse. He's not. That guy is going to bring massive, great prosperity and fucking greatness to the American people, dude. I guarantee it. I will bet my fucking life on it, dude. And if he fucks up, I'll take responsibility for it, man. And I'll go off myself with a fucking gun. But no, I'm that confident that Donald Trump is going to lead America back into great, independence and salvation and freedom. We as the American people, though, just need to do our part now, especially now that we're in the age of information, to move that movement forward now, to get people into a new paradigm shift and see the world now in a different way, where we as human beings aren't fighting and trying to kill each other, and there's no racial division or fucking gender division or war on white people or war on the American family or war on Christmas. Can just come together and look at our fucking differences and start to actually appreciate each other for what we are, as opposed to what we think and who we are. We're all human beings. We all have feelings about things and perceptions on reality. We should respect those perceptions. That's the problem I hate about this fucking YouTube website, but there's a lot of content people create about other channels, about other people's point of views. They insult and ridicule them. Yes, they bring up points and logic, and yes, I agree with their points and logic because they disprove everything the other person fucking says. But when you call that person a fucking moron, it alienates the party originally that you insulted, and that person then fucking hates everybody else, and then it's just a shitstorm. We need to stop fighting each other as fucking beings and decide to come together and appreciate and understand each other. Please, show me your perspective. I want to understand the world through your eyes. I care about what you think. I don't fucking want to fight you. I don't even know you, man. That's the thing, dude. People talk so much shit on the fucking internet, bro. You're talking to another fucking human being on the other end, man. And you got to understand that, dude. That person has got feelings, emotions, and a perception on the world, man. And you telling you to go off yourself, or if you're a Clorox bleach guy down in the comments section that says, drink me, you guys honestly are the real MVP, though. But if you are the Clorox bleach guy, man, telling somebody to drink you, that's fucking terrible. But yeah, dude, we really need, as a being, as a society, we need to bring back shamans and really start to understand the taboo subject of drugs that do not just come from the pharmaceutical industry. Because the problem is right now we have a pharmaceutical industry that holds a monopoly over all essence of drugs for what is good and what is bad for you. As long as the drugs come from them and you're paying your fucking doctor and medical bills to them and the money's rolling to them, all the drugs they'll give you are fine. But the drugs that could actually heal people, the drugs that could actually offer up a true liberation from mental fucking slavery and all diseases that are grow naturally on this planet that we ignore, we need to start taking into account of and start using them to start dealing with our true diseases and not stop relying on these pharmaceutical synthetic fucking drugs that are designed to just heal your treatments but not actually cure the problem. That's the issue with a lot of drugs. They're a pill for your ill. They don't really solve your ill. They just kind of cover up the ailments, and then the ailments just come back anyways afterwards. So then you need more drugs, and then you're in an endless cycle of being fucking sick. And the problem is there's only money in sick people. There's no money in healthy people. That's why, honestly, one of the legislations that really need to be passed, at least in the U.S. government, is if you are a healthy male and you don't have any doctor visits or any ailments or any dental problems, you need to literally be paid by the government for being in good health, because you're not being a burden on society. Because the problem is the American way of life, we are a sick people. We are obese, we are diabetic, we are dying, and we are fat as fuck. And basically, I know those two are the same thing, but basically that is just a perfect formula for just creating extremely expensive healthcare costs and extremely expensive medical bills, bro. I went to the ER because I thought I had an issue with my mouth going on, which again, I have fucking periodontal disease roll up my upper gums right now, so I have a little bit of a receding gum line. Basically, and also a receding hairline, but also basically fucking, it cost me $900 because I went to the ER one time. $900, dude. I didn't even know what the cost of the ER was. I heard if you walk into an ER, it's about $400. So I was expecting to pay that. I got double that. $900 fucking dollars I have to pay back to the hospital just because I had a scare. And I was nervous, and I went to the hospital because it's like, shit, dude, I don't know what those fucking do. Help me solve my problem. Go to go see a physician, does fucking nothing for me, guesses, gives me a semi-fucking prescribed, like, you know, ailment or cause, and then just sends me on my way and says, if it gets worse, come back and see us. Doesn't fucking help you at all. See, true healthcare should come from self-care. And we as human beings, at least in the Western world, do not give a fuck about our health and well-being. We put that shit on the back burner and focus on more important things like trying to make money or, trying to get the next fucking high or next fucking thrill in our lives. And we just completely ignore the most important thing, which is true health and well-being in our bodies. And if we could get back in touch with that importance, it would fix a lot of other fucking problems and dysfunctions in the rest of our country and the world. And I truly do think, honestly, if we could have another Woodstock era from the 1960s, but now in the current generation, led by Donald Trump, where he passes legislation that legalizes fucking everything, then opens up these rehab centers to give people who want to get off drugs a chance to actually get out of their death cycle they're in, basically, and being dependent on the substances and finally become a productive member of society, to bring these people back into society and then so they can get more jobs and this economy grows and tens of millions of jobs get created and everybody wins. And it would be a win-win-win. The only thing is that would lose the pharmaceutical industry, because then, again, there is no money in healthy people. There's only money in sick people. And as long as you're sick, they're making cash off you. So, please, we as beings need to fucking make this happen. I wish I was a bigger channel on YouTube so I could start spreading this message more and getting more followers, because we could do it together. We just have to start grouping the fuck up again and then asking the government, yo, bro, can you pass this legislation? And if 100 million fucking people in the U.S. decide to sign on of 330 million or 320 million, it would get passed in a heartbeat. You really want to bring fucking change? Go and get in your car, go down to D.C., get 15 million fucking people to go stand outside the fucking Capitol building in the White House and watch how much legislation gets passed instantaneously, man. It would be insane the amount of fucking changes that would happen in this country if we, the people, took the action steps to get the fucking ball rolling. And this, for me, is just one fucking, step up the fucking mountain. There's still 10 million more steps to go, but we need to start grouping up and making what this change we want into a reality. At least I want, dude. I don't know about you, but I think, at least if you've looked at our recent past and the amount of racial division and gender confusion and white fucking hate and white privilege bullshit and other privileges and fat shaming and all this fucking dysfunction that we have, it could all be fixed if we start taking the steps opposite to what we've been doing. Because obviously what we've been doing has not been working and has not been adding any kind of benefit for any people. So I feel if we do something different like this, again, it may sound like an extreme idea and you may think I'm fucking crazy, and I'm a little bit crazy. But the thing is that there's a fine line between being a genius and being crazy, and you need a little bit of both to be able to achieve it. So anyways, I would like to see this change. We as people just need to group the fuck up and again join together. And again, I would appreciate if you could share this message and get other people involved just so we can actually start growing this movement. We need another Woodstock era to happen, man. It was this, the what I'm talking about now would have already happened if this took place 60 years ago. Again, the leaders of those movements died, and that movement died with it. The greatest benefit now between now and the movement back then is we have one secret tool. We have one thing that gives us the benefit over all other generations, and that is the fucking internet. The internet is a beautiful tool that has been able to spread information now faster than ever before. In a world full of people now that have devices like cell phones and computers that can now take in that information, and we can become more connected now, not just in a virtual space, but now in a physical realm. The thing is, as technology advances and gets more and more complicated, we as beings are going to eventually either become too stupid to use it, but we need to raise our levels of intelligence so we can actually work with technology and create synergy between those two. And then we really get into like, augmentation reality with like robot arms and fucking, if you ever played the game Deus Ex, Mankind Divided or Human Revolutions, basically that's the reality I want to get to, just with less government and more freedoms and allowing people really to get in touch again with their human bodies and their essence. Anyways, guys, I'm done rambling. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Anyways, peace out.